What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Gym Report. I'm your host, Pablo, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Brian Schultz. Brand new day. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is the trailer that people have been waiting for. And we had a conversation some time ago, and I asked a question about Destin Daniel Cretton in terms of his ascension into the elites. And this movie could perhaps bring him up another notch towards that status, towards that label of one of the best out there. In the names with Chris Nolan, Ryan Coogler, Denis Villeneuve.
Follows on the Cretton. He's got Cretton stock.
I'm just saying,
he's
Brian.
buying you Destin Daniel Cretton stock right now.
I'm just saying we'll
talk about
journey.
That. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But
so the trailer arrived, and it's broken records. The last record to hold that many views on YouTube within the first 24 hours was Daredevil Wolverine. And Spider-Man Brand New Day has broken that by leaps
2X.
and bounds.
2X.
Yes, 2X.
Yeah.
And that's a big 2X.
Yeah.
We're talking about the millions here.
719 million views in the first 24 hours.
That's a lot.
Spider-Man matters, man. Spider-Man matters. We talk about it across generations, across nations. This is a character that has transcended a lot of barriers and boundaries and continues to resonate with a lot of people.
So let's get into it, Brian. What did you think about the trailer?
Loved it. I mean, we'll get into a little bit of I almost felt like they had already spiked the football enough to where they probably could have taken a few shots out and I'd have been fine. But tonally, visually, character beats, without giving too much away about the story, this is most of what you want to see from a trailer. And to me, and I think you had the same reaction, so I want to start here. The reason why this trailer really resonates is because of Tom Holland as Peter and the relationships he lost, which this trailer immediately focuses you in on the human anguish of this guy having sacrificed what he did and then having to see Ned and see MJ. And you see, and I got to give Holland credit here. I think even it's only a trailer, so we don't know his full performance. But even in these 2 minutes, there is a sense of maturity and emotional gravity here that the first 3 movies did not require. He looks older. He looks more haggard. He looks more down on life. And he does and I think it's a very good choice in the trailer to really bring us to that, because for this to work, I think that has to be the lifeblood of this movie and lead us into, we'll talk about it, but maybe some strange and different places they want to go with this.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that aspect of Peter Parker still, remembering those relationships and what he lost and seeing them and sort of, I think he's carrying around that letter that he wants to give MJ. And then, sort of looking at Ned like, damn, that's crazy. That's tough thing to do, to see your friend and you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't do anything because of what you did and what you had to do. And so definitely they're pouring into that mentality of this dude is not happy, but he's doing what he got to do because of what his responsibility is. You see him visiting Aunt May at the cemetery, remembering what she told him, and that's what he has to live with. There was one thing, Brian, that I was curious about in terms of the voices that we heard in that trailer.
Many things. Yes, go ahead.
So Keith David.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, is that Keith David?
It 100%
what he doing in this
Keith
film?
David.
Yes.
It's 100% Keith David.
2 things came to mind in terms of the character that he may be playing. He is either Norman Osborn or he's Doc Connors, the lizard.
Okay.
Maybe. I feel like that is a possibility because he is talking to a scientific man, a man who's certainly is astute in his knowledge. And so I think that is a possibility. What did you think when you heard that voice and the sort of conversation that he was having with possibly Peter in terms of describing what he may or may not know that he may be going through, but what a spider goes through?
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the great Easter eggs of the trailer is you choose an actor whose voice a lot of people will be like, either they instantly recognize it or they'll be like, man, I know that voice from somewhere. I got to figure out who that is because that's not someone I knew was in the film. You're right. I mean, it could be a number of directions. I am going to guess whoever he's playing does not constitute a big role in this film.
Okay.
I'm guessing he is there, as you say, in some kind of scientific role as a bridge to somewhere else. Because I think what they're laying out, there's definitely whiffs of man spider, from the comics, where you kind of see like him in the cocoon, this idea of, well, they use the word mutation, but this idea of change where and then his eyes glaze black, which is clearly a bad sign. So there's definitely this sense of evolution going on in terms of, the radioactive spider bite. I think the voiceover character is meant to be somebody who probably features more prominently in the future films. And that this is something, again, brand new day. It's not going to be completed in this film. It's meant to sort of open the gateway and the aperture toward whatever is going on with the Daredevil kind of New York verse and whatever is going on with the mutants, right? This is very much like you can sense they're connecting two different parts of the world they want to explore, and Spider-Man's going to live in both. So I'm excited. I think you're right. It's probably honestly a coin flip as to whether he's playing that high profile a character like Norman, not like a top shelf character like Norman Osborn, or whether it's like a backdoor into something else. Like you said, something else that like we haven't necessarily seen before or something else from the comics. So I will reserve judgment on that, but a very cool left field element of the trailer, and very cool that they didn't show you at all. Like they just let it be the voice and let you guess.
I don't know when the Punisher special comes out.
We don't know exactly when. We just know it's probably
Before.
within 30 to 60 days of July 31st. We kind of know it's very close. Yeah.
So what did you think of Frank Castle's appearance? I mean, they really didn't show much.
It works.
Yeah.
I mean, for that little bit, it works, right? Because he's able to be what you expect Castle to be. And then they cleverly use Spidey's sort of sense of humor to prevent the curse word and, all that sort of stuff. No, so in that sense, I think it worked fine. I mean, that little bit that we saw. Likewise, I think, we clearly have gaps to fill in because you see Mark Ruffalo as Mark Ruffalo. So you know that Hulk is in the pocket somewhere. And obviously that's part of the device here of how does Angry Hulk come out. I actually do like the little interaction there as a reminder of, hey, Peter's lost his friends, but he's also lost his superhero friends too. Because he obviously has the same, like, what's your name? Who? I think you get that sense of isolation really nicely in this trailer, which I think is important. And there's a lot of speculation that they quick cut away from Hulk in this trailer. Like there's at least some speculation that some of what you're seeing in terms of Peter, like reaching back with his webs and like being propelled through the air is part of a confrontation with Hulk where Hulk is not shown. So that's also been there's a lot of speculation on basically what's been edited out of this trailer.
Yes.
As part, because we know that in No Way Home, they did that,
yes,
right?
Yes,
they did that with Tobey and Andrew. So I think a nice job. I thought a good decision to not show Hulk being angry in this case. Like just show Mark Ruffalo. We know he's in the movie. And then fill in the gap of why he looks like Mark Ruffalo and what we're doing.
Sadie Sink, Jean Grey.
Seems like that's where we're headed. I mean, that's, they held back, obviously, most of her stuff. Again, good that if she is Jean Grey, good that they didn't make it crystal clear by having her use her powers in some way that would give it away. But yeah, I mean, I think that seems to be the betting money. That's the choice they've made. Again, because there's the mutation reference, right? They use that. Anytime they use that word, it's not going to be an accident. They could clearly not use that word. I don't think Spider-Man's an actual mutant. I don't think that's what Ruffalo's saying. But I think there's that connection to the mutant world. Because they call him what? An enhanced human? That's what it says, right? He's not called a mutant. He's called an enhanced human. So I think that's meant to tell you he's not going to be like a true X-Man, but, maybe shares some of that, I don't know, the broader category of where they're going.
Reminds me of the episode in Spider-Man, the animated series, where he goes visits the X-Men because of what's happening to him. So we'll see where that goes. Charlie Cox says he's not in the film.
Oh, he full Garfielding, man. What he did on Jimmy Kimmel, that's like he got the award. He just like took the weekly Andrew Garfield award and went and hit it. Because he even said, because he's like, he asked him 12 different ways. He's like, I'm not in the movie. And he's like, even if I was in the movie, I would say I was not in the movie, but I'm not in the movie. I'm like, come on, man. And then everyone's saying he's been edited out of that last shot, which is similar to the No Way Home shot. And that's the one. That's actually a shot I wish was not in the trailer because I didn't need it.
Yes.
Such a good trailer. You didn't need that shot.
Yeah. But there's a lot there to get excited about.
Oh, yeah.
I still think that this movie is going to outdo Doomsday. I'm just gonna throw that out there for that possibility that I think Brand New Day will outdo Doomsday. We'll see, depending on how good Doomsday is. But I feel like this movie is going to be a great movie, and that people are going to go see this multiple times because of all that's going on in this film. And let's see what Destin Daniel Cretton does with the Hulk in this, because the Hulk has been, y'all already know. And I will
Hulk for Pablo is like the way he talks about Jean-Claude Van Damme's Street Fighter. It's like, we can't get any worse.
You can't.
We're on the bottom with the Hulk right now.
Yeah, you can't get any worse, yo. You just can't. You can only improve, because it's not like people are saying great things about what the current Hulk is.
No.
So you can only take what the majority are saying and elevate it, and hopefully that is good enough.
Well, so let's get a good segue. We don't see the Hulk obviously in this, but we do see a lot of Spider-Man, and we have heard a lot from the very beginning about Cretton's choices to go more practical, to try to get away from green screen for Spidey. I think you can see that in this trailer. I think the physics of Spider-Man are as good as we've ever seen in these 2 minutes. When he's jumping, and even when he's working with the tank, where you know there's visual effects involved, there's just a sense of physicality that he's there, and like the gravity looks right. And like I said to you, like I love the little touches of like when they get up close and he's in the air, and you're kind of like, even in the trailer, you're like feeling him moving through the air. I think Cretton has found something here that is going to make it feel a little different when we're with Spider-Man. And that's really important, because we've seen a lot of good Spider-Man, to be quite honest, at this point. So like our expectations are high, but to give us something new is difficult. And so I got the sense in this trailer, there were a couple shots where I was like, yeah, that actually looks better. That looks like there's an actual dude like doing that, which in a lot of cases there was, and that's pretty cool.
And I'm excited to see more, because we only got a snippet of it, and I think what we'll see in some of these shots is going to be something to behold when we get into the theaters and watch it.
Well, that's why I didn't want to see more of the hand stuff, because we had seen the set photos with that tank scene a lot. So I was totally okay with them showing more of that sequence in the trailer, because we've already kind of seen him shooting that. The hand stuff was where I was kind of like, show less of that. Like, just it's fine to let us know, confirm that rumor that they're in there. But like, I don't need to see the ninja fight yet. Save that for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
What did you think of? I mean, he didn't have much to do, although we already know that Tillman will be playing the head of the
damage control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't. It was cool to see him, but he didn't really have much to do or say in that.
Well, here's what I like about the little bit that we got, though. So we got a little bit of the enemy of my enemy is my friend talk there, right? Because he's kind of describing Mr. Negative, I think.
Okay.
He's not describing Tombstone, right? I thought it was Mr. Negative, because he's basically saying we can't even see the guy. We can't stop the guy. I'm assuming, and you're seeing like, there's that shot of like when people turn evil and it's sort of bizarre. That's not Tombstone doing that, right? I think that's Mr. Negative that's doing that, right?
You talking about those cops, those?
Yeah, like when he's like opening the tank and like behind him, the people get possessed or whatever. I assume there was something.
Some people are saying that's Jean Grey doing some work there.
Oh, okay. But we don't see it. We don't see it in full. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe possible. Okay. I'm just saying, but Tillman's sitting down at the desk, basically just talking as if he needs help with a bad guy, even though we know he's not a good guy, if that makes sense.
Yes. Well, he doesn't have really good intentions with what he
No,
is attempting to.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that you kind of get into like so that feels like a role that Tramell Tillman can play really well, where he's sort of a, you know, shady character that, you know, might seem decent or like you might have to be aligned with one moment, but he's going to try to take you down the next. So that works for me. The suit. So you had a comment on the suit, which was interesting. You and I are a little bit different on that. I kind of like the homemade nature of it. The fact that it kind of is in the washing machine, the fact that it's flapping around a little bit and is not top shelf tech anymore.
I was fine with the way it looked now. Because we've seen this is the first, like, you know, when we got the shots and, you know, from the photos, the leak stuff, you know, but now in the movie, it looks like, you know, like Spider-Man stuff. So it was fine for me.
Okay.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all.
Because I thought that was very deliberate that that Cretton wanted you to feel through the air that this suit is not pristine the way the Stark tech would. That this is like supposed to be like, hey, he's pulling this over his head. It's like a piece of he's washed this thing 1,000,000 times in the last 4 years, so it's a little bit baggy now. Like I thought that was intentional to kind of let you know that this is a solo effort right now.
When he is unable to spin the web, and at the last minute he does, is that a shot of possibility of it actually coming out of his wrist at that moment?
Yes. There's rumors that he's transitioning to the Maguire-style organic shooter with whatever mutation or evolution is going on. Yes, I think when you see him even upside down in the cocoon, he's not wearing anything on his wrists.
Yeah.
But there's an idea that he's hanging from the web. So I think there's like, he either can't control it or it sporadically is shooting out of him at this point.
That's going to be a very interesting thing. And I already, when we were talking about this some time ago in terms of the whole MJ situation, you know, she's going to be different and she's going to look different and she's going to be with somebody else. To him to watch that's going to be tough as an audience to see him feel that. And I think Tom Holland does a good job of emoting that sort of feeling of like, damn, man, this sucks. You know, and you can't do nothing. Well, we'll see what happens, if he attempts to sort of talk to her about what was.
I would agree. I would also say, like, we know that there was a creative struggle as to what was supposed to be in this movie. And we obviously, we don't know exclusively from the trailer how it's going to be. But if we just take the themes of these core relationships that have been fractured, the man-spider transformation of Spider-Man into a new phase, and then these other heroes or villains that are being placed on the board for new directions they want to go in. This movie didn't feel small to me based on the trailer. Like, I know, like, if you're a Sony and you were saying, hey, we got to go bigger and bigger after No Way Home, and Kevin's saying, no, we got to go Streets level. Streets level felt pretty big in this trailer to me. I mean, this didn't feel like, this looked like a spectacle, like in 2 minutes. So I'm hopeful that, like, there's a lot of groundwork that it feels like Cretton has to do here. And it's not just for Spider-Man alone. Like I said, I think he's doing groundwork for X-Force. I think he's doing groundwork for Hulk. He's doing groundwork maybe for future Avengers, doing groundwork for Daredevil, Kingpin, like whatever. Like, there's a lot here that I feels like he's laying bricks for. And I'm not worried about this feeling small at all.
And this won't be his last outing. Destin Daniel Cretton, after this movie and for what we think the potential is for this movie in terms of box office, this is not his last rodeo. He is going to get up on that bull again for perhaps bigger stuff, perhaps Spider-Man, whatever it is going to be big because they're going to be depending on his genius, I think, to elevate MCU back to its, because I'm sure they're hoping for Doomsday for that, for that to be the case with Doomsday, to bring it back to, you know, excellency, you know, sort of situation. But Destin Daniel Cretton, if this movie is able to outdo or even compete in terms of numbers with Doomsday, his name will be at the top of the list for anything huge coming next for him and the MCU.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because I think he's going to be at a bit of a career crossroads after this movie. I think $1 billion is a lock. I think it's interesting, right? Because The Odyssey comes out 2 weeks before. The Odyssey has IMAX for a month. Spider-Man was not shot in IMAX. There are rumors that Spider-Man is taking over IMAX after the Odyssey is done. So they were betting on repeat business in August as maybe a
I
way
think
to
that's a
get some
possibility. Yes,
extra revenue because it is a dead
absolutely.
time. So Odyssey will have a long run. We know that. But if Spider-Man is as good as we think, I think Spider-Man could do business well into August as well. And that's where you could see the 1.5 billion type number creep into play. If that's the case, we know that Destin Daniel Cretton at one point was going to direct what became Doomsday. He was the original director for Kang Dynasty.
Yes.
He wound up being the director for Brand New Day. So clearly he's going to be asked to do something else Marvel in the future. He can't do everything.
Yes.
So on the board, you're clearly going to have the obvious, which is they're going to ask him to do the Spider-Man sequel. So that's I think they clearly are going to ask him to do an Avengers movie probably after Secret Wars. There's already been some rumors that he would be the next in line to do, I guess it would be Avengers 7, whenever that comes. Depending on how people receive some of the characters in this movie, I would suspect there will be consideration given to having him do an X-Men movie as well. Or he could do something outside of Marvel entirely. If you are him, what would you do next? Assuming this movie does, as we say, approaches like $1.5 billion with excellent reviews and people are just buzzing about it. Like, man, this guy gets Spider-Man, he gets Marvel, and he crushed it again after Shang-Chi was a positive surprise. Wonder Man was a win, and now he's done the giant blockbuster. What would you do? What would you want to see him do?
As a creative, you always have a list of stuff that you want to do, that you've been wanting to do, a passion for doing it. I suspect that after this, yes, he'll get a nice check to do the next one, but after that, perhaps he'll want to go into doing something that he's been wanting to do. So I think he'll definitely, the next one up for him most likely would be either a small project if he has the time for that, depending on how quickly they want to get on with the second part of this. But I would suspect that after the success of this film, they'll want to sort of lock him in for the next one. And depending on what it is that he wants to do, if there's a passing project that he's been wanting to do, that may be the conundrum that he may have to sort of figure out in terms of how much time will he have to film a passion project of his, because it may not be super blockbuster type film, right?
Right.
It might be just something that he's been wanting to do. And I think as a creative, you always have those things. So I think he might do something small and then in the interim, before getting ready for Spider-Man, whatever they name the next one, the second part of this perhaps trilogy, because this is a trilogy and then that's it, correct?
The assumption is that'll be the end of Tom Holland's run as Spider-Man. This is his grown-up Spider-Man, and then that's it. Now, he can clearly do, from a timing perspective, he could clearly do something similar to what the Russos did in the Infinity Saga, which is the Russos shepherded Cap's second and third movie, and then they did Infinity War and Endgame. I could see something similar here where Cretton is the steward of Spider-Man and he does an Avengers movie just based on scheduling. That can work because Avengers 7 is a ways off. If we're being honest, right? That's not, you figure Secret Wars, even if it comes in 2027, the next Avengers movie is probably 2031, 2032, 2033, somewhere out there.
Yeah.
But I think the question becomes, how much Marvel does he really want to do? Like we kind of saw, like John Watts did the 3 movies, and then kind of was like, I'm out. Like, I don't want to do any more of this. He's like, I want to do something. He wound up doing Skeleton Crew. Like, I want to do something small and different, And I think, like, when you talk about where can Cretton get to as a director, like, I'm not willing to put him in the elite class until he delivers his version of Sinners outside of Marvel. Like, it's one thing to be, right? Because to me, like, if he swings and hits big with Spider-Man, and let's assume he gets an Avengers movie and he does great with that. Okay, he is clearly the successor to the Russos. He's the next guy who can deliver consistent blockbuster wins inside the Marvel machine. But to be a truly elite director, you have to do it all over the place. And so Nolan does it in all genres, right? Coogler can do it in Marvel and he can do it on his own, right? Denis Villeneuve can go anywhere and do it. And like we'll talk about his trailer in a bit. So I think to get to that level, you have to be able to exist in all forums, including taking something of your own from start to finish. And so right now he's got little stuff that's been nice, right? Short Term 12, Just Mercy. But he needs something that's like, 300, 400, 500 million that he just originates from start to finish. And the question is time. Like, does he want to do that? Because if you're going to do Spider-Man and Avengers, you don't have time to go work on something like that. Like, Coogler obviously took the time. Like, he did Wakanda Forever. He took the time. He went and made Sinners. Then he's coming back to do Black Panther 3. You have to organize your schedule so you can do that. So I'm fascinated, but I'm very high on Cretton. I'm very high on this movie. As I said, I think it's going to be a better movie than Doomsday. I see nothing in the trailer that puts me off that scent. I still think odds are Doomsday will do bigger box office, although when we talk about the Dune trailer, I mean, it does seem like they are going to go head to head, and we'll find out if that's additive or not. But in terms of my excitement level, this trailer only served to just pour gas on my fire for Spider-Man.
Yeah. This is going to be something that people are really going to come out and see, and it's going to feel like when I went to go see Superman, you can feel the excitement in the air before seeing it, and you can feel the electricity in the air. And I think for this movie, people will be certainly getting excited, and you're going to feel it when you go into the theaters to go see this movie. People are going to be cheering. It's just going to be something to behold. I actually didn't get to see Dune 3, the trailer, Brian.
Want to watch it now?
I have it up.
Let's do it.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
If we have a girl, what will we name her?
Her name should be Ganima. She'll need to be strong, like her mother. What if it's a boy?
I would name it Leto. So he would have the wisdom of his grandfather.
War feeds on itself. The more I fight, the more our enemies fight back. I'm doing the best I can to protect my family. How did Father do it?
Your father never started a war.
I'm not afraid to die. But I must not die. Yet.
$12.18. A significant date.
We need a clip of I think it's in Miami Vice movie with Colin Farrell, Sonny Crockett, where he's like, "We're not backing off this." that's the 12-18. We're not backing off this.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't feel that confident.
They got IMAX for a month too. That's the reason they're not backing off it. And the other reason is Oscar bait. I mean, they think this movie, they're going for Best Picture, right? This thing's been nominated twice. Villeneuve's been nominated. Obviously, we can talk about Chalamet, maybe sabotaging his campaign this go around, but he's always in the mix. Yeah. And the point is that movie's coming out this calendar year. So I think it's actually more like, if there's a move, I think Avengers is the movie that's going to move. I don't think it's going to be this one.
You think they're going to move?
There's a chance. I could actually see Avengers moving up like a week or two. That's because they don't have an IMAX restriction. So that I could see. And exhibitors would probably want that. They're already protesting. They're basically like, with the amount of screens these two movies are going to require, 4,000 screens, there's no room for anything else. And there's like there's a couple other movies that have been trying to set up as counterpoints to these blockbusters who are like, we won't get any room if these two movies are out at the same time. So it wouldn't shock me if Avengers actually came up a week or two. But I don't think Dune's moving. And I think the fact that they put the date in this one is kind of a signal like, no, we planted the flag. This is where we're going to be.
How soon do you think we'll get the Avengers Doomsday trailer after this? Because they're saying their stamp right here like, yo, this is the movie y'all going to go see 12/18. Now,
yeah, look, I mean, obviously the visuals look incredible. And and by the way, we're talking about true trailers and it's like, oh, there's Zendaya. Oh, there's Zendaya. Like, she can't lose. Euphoria is coming back in a couple of weeks. She can't lose. That woman is just absolute. I mean, all due respect to Tom Holland, it's like, you may be crushing it in Brand New Day, but you're still going to be second fiddle in your own house. It's just how it is. But no, I think this movie looks incredible. And I think I got some quotes here from Villeneuve, because this one, they don't really have the benefit of an amazing book to adapt. They kind of have a book that most people think is just okay as a framework. And then he actually brought in a comic book writer to help him kind of beef up the story and make it more of a true conclusion to what he wanted to tell. So I'm kind of fascinated to see what they do with that. But look at the star power in the film. And, it's interesting. They give away Momoa coming back, which is in the book. And I won't spoil under what circumstances he comes back. If you want to look it up, you can. But they obviously want you to know that Jason Momoa is in the movie. Not the first time we've seen that. And how about Pattinson, by the way? How about Pattinson with a bleached, shaved head as a villain?
Yeah.
Unrecognizable compared to what he's going to look like when he's Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Similar to how they sort of did, what's the other guy's name?
Austin
Elvis?
Butler. Butler.
Yeah.
What a luxury if you're Denis Villeneuve. You can get Austin Butler and Robert Pattinson to be like one-off villains in your sequels for this.
Right.
Here's the thing. Like, this is where I talk about like Villeneuve's skill. Those couple of shots where you see like the lasers raining down on the war scene and the space, that's what makes him one of the masters of sci-fi, where you're just like, even in a trailer, and I've seen this world before, I'm like, oh, he still is able to give you this like, no, I got something else. I got something else for you to chew on when you go to the theater. So,
yeah, I cannot wait for this. I think this will be certainly another spectacle among the other spectacles that we're supposed to be getting on that day. Depends on who. Let's see who moves, but I would suspect that Marvel is certainly cooking up their trailer so that they can show what they have in store. I suspect that Dune 3 will not move because of what they believe they have. And obviously, visually, what we've seen is something to behold, especially on IMAX screens. The only choice I think for Marvel to do is to move, especially if they're concerned about box office, because that's, $1 billion is not going to cut it. No. So they need all the leg room that they can in order to sort of reach a respectable levels in their eyes. So
I would be fascinated to know, what does Warner Brothers think Dune 3 should do commercially?
What did they do?
So the first one comes out in COVID is like $450.
Okay.
Second one came out, did $750. So there's a world where this challenges $1 billion because everyone knows it's the end. If the reviews are just as good, and if you get it's been out for a couple weeks, and then you get nominations come in, right? And like, let's say they get all the nominations: director, best picture, best actor. I mean, there's a world where this movie could have the legs to go after $1 billion, which is shocking for this kind of movie. I just wonder what they think the success, what they would consider a mega, just a repeat of last time, opposite the Avengers, or are they thinking, hey, we ought to be 450 to 750 to 900 to $1 billion? That's kind of where we ought to be for the finish here.
I think below 1.5.
Oh, I don't think
1.
it can do 1.5. Oh, you think? Okay, so that's I think 1.5 is too much to ask, right? But I think $1 billion is fascinating to me. Whether this can do it, and if it can. Now you're like, where it, because we saw with Barbenheimer, you got $1.5 billion, $1.4 billion for that, and the Oppenheimer was right about $1 billion. It was like 980.
Yeah.
So if you say Dune's the Oppenheimer in this equation, we know with Avengers they expect north of 1.5, and they're hoping for 2. So is there room for that at the same time?
If I needed to be specific, 1.2, 1.1 around there.
What an achievement if he's able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing this trailer, Brian, and the names that are on this, and the word of mouth for Dune has been nothing but spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the reaction to this trailer is similarly spectacular. Like, this was a week where both of these trailers were like, they hit it. Like, they're very different trailers, but Spider-Man and Dune both touched the chords they needed to, and people are just oohing and ahhing over both for different reasons.
Yeah, that's why I think there is a slight chance that they will exceed that 1 billion mark, and hit within that range that I mentioned. So we'll see. But interesting. Again, my hope is that in the next few weeks we get something with regards to Avengers Doomsday, because it's just we need as fans, we know it's coming. We've had the hype men hyping it up. We need to see and feel what that looks like, and what to expect right now, because enough is enough of the talk, the leaks, and all this other stuff. These things that they've put out that haven't done what they, I guess, hoped they would do, and the homework that they expected us to do. None of that has gotten us excited.
Well, I think it's interesting because they spent a lot of time trying to make the Doomsday tease be, layered and have riddles and messages and tricks and toys. And Brand New Day kind of wound up being a very conventional approach.
Yeah.
Now, they released it in a kind of a fun way. They kind of used the fans to release little bits of it in the 24 hours leading up to it, and that's what. But at the end of the day, the trailer you got is a very conventional lead trailer for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to see that the reaction to that's been just unilaterally positive, versus the Doomsday one was kind of like some people liked it, some people were questioning it, some people were frustrated by it, some people were confused. So you're right, it wasn't as clean of a response as I think Marvel was probably hoping. And so now they have their opportunity to make amends. Look, I mean, obviously, I would expect there would be some kind of trailer attached to Brand New Day, right? That would only be logical. So you say that's too late. That's the end of July. But I would assume
that's too late. I think
there will be something new and exciting for Avengers attached to Spider-Man. That would make all the sense in the world. So then the other question becomes, what other Disney release or what other moment in time could they use as a forum to put out the first full trailer for this movie? I mean, harder to say. I think they want to let the Spider-Man thing breathe for a little bit. I don't think they want to step on that.
True.
But you're right. April, May, you've got Toy Story 5 in June. That might be an opportunity. That would make some sense. That's going to be a really big movie. You can kind of get it in the early part of summer. You could, of course, just put it out online on its own. You don't really need a movie to launch it. But I think you're right. I think I'm going to say May. I'm going to say no later than Memorial Day. Oh, okay. Mando Grogu. That's actually what I'm going to say. Mando Grogu is where you're going to get it, because they need that. That movie needs help.
Yes,
Toy
yes,
Story
yes,
5.
yes.
Toy Story 5 doesn't need help. Mando Grogu needs
Man.
help. That's my
Yeah,
prediction.
yeah.
Prediction? Yes, prediction.
Doomsday
Okay.
trailer in
Okay.
front of Mando Grogu. Memorial Day.
Yeah. Anything else, Brian, before you wrap this one up?
No, I just marvel at, like I said, what I marvel at this week is how different those trailers are, and yet how my excitement for both is off the charts. I love that about film, right? It's like that something with Spider-Man can feel fresh and fun, and I can't wait to go see that. And then I see Dune, and I know it's serious and it's grave, and it's, I mean, it's literally like a, global war, and there's like, I forget how many he killed. Is it billions? It's literally like billions dead in the war, I think, in the book and that he launches here.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, I can't wait to see how he ends this. And then you see that star list, and you're like, this is going to be one of those you look back on where it's like every under 35 or under 40 megastar was in this trilogy. Like Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Robert Pattinson, Austin Butler. Like, they were all here at the same time. Whatever else they go on to do. That's really cool.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought of the brand new Day trailer and the Dune 3 trailer. Do you think Doomsday should move? Do you think they want to move after seeing this? Do you believe that they should put out something to sort of say, hey, we here too? and see who, and play chicken to see who moves. Because Dune 3 ain't moving.
I don't think so.
Because of the IMAX situation, because this is the final thing, and because their confidence in what they'd have.
I saw, it's funny to that point. There was a good interview. Rebecca Ferguson was on Josh Horowitz this week, and she even tossed in a Doomsday reference when asked about it. So, like, those don't happen by accident. When the cast of the movie is out there and they're pitching like those promotional lines of like, no, she's obviously in Dune 3, she loves it, and she says like, no, it's Dune's Day. Like, she's pitching 12/18 as like their day. So
that's gonna be interesting, man. So let us know in the comment section below what you guys think, and remember, if you haven't heard anywhere else, you heard it here first on the Nerd Gen Report. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time on the Nerd Gen Report.